Spaghetti bolognese. Spaghetti bolognese is built around a slow-simmered meat sauce served over long strands of spaghetti. The sauce typically begins with onions and garlic cooked gently in oil, followed by ground meat that is browned until rich in color. Tomatoes are added, along with herbs, and the mixture is left to cook slowly so the flavors deepen over time. As it reduces, the sauce thickens and becomes concentrated. When spooned over freshly cooked spaghetti, it coats the strands and settles between them. The length of the pasta allows the sauce to wrap around each bite rather than sitting heavily on top. Finished with grated cheese, the dish feels hearty and complete, combining tender pasta with a deeply developed sauce that has been given time to build its flavor. Fettuccine Alfredo. Fettuccine Alfredo is known for its smooth, creamy consistency and its rich, buttery flavor. The sauce is traditionally made by melting butter and combining it with cream and finely grated cheese until it becomes thick and glossy. The wide ribbons of fettuccine are ideal for this type of sauce because their flat surface gives the cream something to cling to. Instead of pooling at the bottom of the plate, the sauce stretches across each strand. The result is a dish that feels cohesive from the first bite to the last. Though simple in ingredients, the balance of fat and salt creates a full flavor that does not rely on spices or tomatoes. The texture is what defines it most. Soft pasta wrapped in a silky coating that feels substantial without being overly complicated. Lasagna. Lasagna is a layered pasta dish designed to be baked as a complete meal. Wide sheets of pasta are arranged in layers with sauce, cheese, and sometimes meat or vegetables. Each layer serves a purpose. The pasta creates structure, the sauce adds moisture and flavor, and the cheese binds everything together as it melts. As the dish bakes, the layers settle and fuse into a firm, sliceable form. The top often develops a lightly browned surface, adding a slight contrast in texture. When cut, each portion reveals its stacked layers, showing how the ingredients combine into one unified dish. Unlike tossed pasta, lasagna is about construction. It requires planning and assembly, and the result feels more like a composed entree than a simple bowl of noodles. Mac and cheese. Mac and cheese centers around small pasta mixed with a thick cheese sauce. The pasta, often elbow-shaped, is cooked until tender and then combined with a sauce made from milk, butter, and melted cheese. The sauce fills the hollow centers of the pasta and coats the outside, creating a creamy consistency throughout. Some versions are baked, which forms a slightly crisp top layer and adds a subtle texture contrast. Others are served straight from the stovetop, remaining smooth and soft. The simplicity of the ingredients is part of the appeal. There are no strong spices or layered sauces, just the balance between pasta and cheese. Because of this, mac and cheese is often associated with comfort and familiarity. It feels filling without being complex. Pasta carbonara. Pasta carbonara is built around a sauce formed from eggs and cheese rather than cream. After cooking the pasta, it is tossed quickly with beaten eggs and grated cheese while still hot. The heat gently cooks the eggs, creating a smooth coating that clings to the pasta without scrambling. Small pieces of cooked meat add a salty depth, while black pepper brings a sharp edge to the dish. The key to carbonara is timing. The sauce must be mixed carefully so it becomes glossy and creamy instead of thick and clumped. When done properly, the pasta appears lightly coated rather than heavily covered. The richness comes from the eggs and cheese blending together, creating a texture that feels indulgent without being overly heavy. Penne alla vodka. Penne alla vodka combines tomatoes and cream into a balanced sauce that is both smooth and slightly tangy. The base begins with garlic and tomatoes simmered until softened. Cream is then added, which mellows the acidity and creates a softer texture. A small amount of vodka is included during cooking to help bind the flavors together, though it does not dominate the taste. The penne pasta, with its hollow center and ridged surface, captures the sauce both inside and out. Each piece holds a small pocket of sauce, ensuring even flavor in every bite. The final dish feels creamy but not overwhelming, with the tomato base still present beneath the richness. Pesto pasta. Pesto pasta features a sauce made by blending fresh herbs with oil, nuts, and cheese into a thick paste. Unlike tomato or cream sauces, pesto is not heavily cooked. Instead, it is mixed with warm pasta, so the heat gently releases its aroma. The oil helps the sauce spread evenly across the surface of the noodles, coating them lightly rather than smothering them. The texture is smoother and slightly textured from the blended ingredients. Because pesto relies on fresh components, the flavor feels bright and clean. It offers a contrast to heavier pasta dishes, focusing more on freshness than richness. Baked ziti. Baked ziti is assembled by mixing cooked pasta with sauce and cheese before placing it in the oven. Unlike lasagna, which is carefully layered, baked ziti is combined in a more blended style. The pasta absorbs the sauce as it bakes, and the cheese melts throughout the dish rather than sitting in separate layers. The top often forms a golden surface as it cooks, adding a slightly firmer texture compared to the soft interior. Because everything is mixed together beforehand, each portion contains a consistent balance of pasta, sauce, and cheese. It is a dish designed to feed multiple people at once, making it common at gatherings or family meals. Ravioli with butter sauce. Ravioli with butter sauce focuses on simplicity and balance. Ravioli itself contains a filling sealed between thin sheets of pasta. The filling can vary, but the goal of the dish is to let that center remain the highlight. After boiling the ravioli until tender, it is tossed gently in melted butter, sometimes with herbs for added aroma. The butter adds richness and shine without covering up the flavor of the filling. Because each piece already contains its own core ingredient, the sauce remains light. The texture of the thin pasta contrasts with the softer interior, creating a layered bite in a single piece. Seafood linguine. Seafood linguine pairs long, flat pasta with a mixture of seafood in a light sauce. The sauce often begins with oil and garlic, forming a simple base that allows the seafood to stand out. A small amount of tomato or broth may be added to create moisture without overwhelming the dish. The linguine's slightly flattened shape gives the sauce something to cling to while still remaining delicate. Timing is important in this dish, since seafood cooks quickly and can become tough if left too long. When prepared carefully, the pasta carries the flavor of the seafood rather than competing with it. The final result feels lighter and more refined compared to meat-heavy pasta dishes, offering balance between texture and flavor